Hey, okay, so here we are, and there is stuff to do and bugs to squash. We're going to have a hotfix release at the end of the day, actually. Next 3.7.2. Have you thought 3.7 point? I mean, point. I'm confused. 3.7.2. Point 3, maybe. So I think, yeah, just released point 2 last night, and there's an important thing we need to fix with it. So I thought I might get a few other things done as well. Well, indeed. Indeed. Let's see. This is definitely an issue. Let's solve this. Okay, let's open VS Code. Oops. Let's open VS Code. Hey! Yes, you are very fast. You're here immediately. Oh dear. I'm a bit wary. So VS Code Insiders has got a bug with SSH connections, which basically it is a bug with port forwarding. So I am a bit worried that they've made a release, and I hope that it's not going to do anything bad with this. We'll see. Okay, it is so annoying. It's only Insiders, I think. So I've had great success with the normal VS Code. But we will see. Right, so we'll go to next. Actually, I'll just open it. You mean the port forwarding issues in the stable release? Because, that's very weird. If you're experiencing that. The other thing is, of course, because you have these different channels, like somebody might be running a slightly different VS Code version compared to someone else. So I guess it's tricky to know exactly. Okay, so let's see. We should be hopefully all installed and stubbed. Good. Okay, let's see. Here's a bug. And this bug is if we have a global server component. Okay, so I'll just create a server component. And we'll make it global. And I'll do it in the test fixture, because then that way I can just directly use this as a test, as a regression test. So we'll call it server component global.server.view. And this should really be an edge case, I think. But anyway, we'll do our best. Kelvin, good to see you. It was so much fun doing the mock interviews yesterday. I don't know if anyone else here was in Kelvin's space, but it was nice. Voila. Oh, interesting. I don't think I had noticed that, Esteban, but that does make sense. I hope it was helpful to folk. It's really difficult to know. So we're solving some random bugs. I use Bun all the time. I've been using Bun for months and months. So internally, I absolutely use it. But should I just show you how we could use Bun? So basically, if you wanted to get started with Bun, you could do this, bunx, bun, that makes it run it with bun, nuxi, init, bun test, okay. So that should install, that's running nuxi, and it's doing it with native buns. This is native bun. I don't know, this could be issues, but we'll see. Okay, there is an issue, clearly. Interesting. Well, do we have bun test? Did it work? It did work. It displayed some weird error. So let's see. we've got our project installed with the bunlock file. And I'm guessing that was because I used the bun flag there. Let's see if I just run bunx nuxi init bun test2. Presumably that's going to work fine. Yeah, okay. So maybe you don't use the bun flag on bunx nuxi at the moment. We could also try, I'll just try one more thing. Just make it at latest to force it to use the latest nuxi. Yeah, okay. So there is an issue, I think, there in nuxi that we need to fix with native bun. And that might also be already reported. Okay, so I've just created 3 projects, but this one is already installed. So we can do bun run dev. We want to do bun run dev. We're just going to start a Nux server in native bun. So this is Nuxt running on bun. And this is going to be a little bit, where are we? Okay, there it is. And is it running? Yeah. It might be confused because I have VS Code doing port forwarding as well. So that's not quite sure what's going on. Let's try this. I should actually not be doing this on my computer because that's only going to slow things down. I think this is bun run. There were a couple of regressions with our with either bun or with our support for bun, but I think we've resolved those with the latest nuxi. Let's see. Interesting. Okay, so there's a difference with this latest one being chunked. That'll be something to check out in a sec. But at the moment, I really need to only have one VS Code open. Okay, and specifically, we should be doing this global component. I'll come back to that in a bit. Okay, test globally registered server component. And I think this should reproduce the bug. So basically, when we run test fixtures basic, we should be able to see that there is an error message. A lot of these error messages are deliberate, but we have this one. Unimport failed to find lazy server component global imported from components. And that is, I think, because we have this transform here. This is the issue. If you want to follow along. So I'll just paste it in chat so we can see what it is. We want to solve this thing. All this on myself, so nobody else does it at the same time. And so we can reproduce it, and I think probably if we tried to build it, it would probably be a build failure. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's see if we can find the issue, and I think the issue is here. That basically we don't export our server components, I think, at all. But let me just check. So we want to say that we expose, what is with mode? Okay. Hey, welcome, Sean, Fanling, and Rhinone. So And Enrique, yes, good to see you. Bun, bun, run, bim, bim, bam. Absolutely. Okay, what are we doing? So I had to ask somebody the other day, by the way, what some Portuguese meant, because I did not know whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, but it turns out it was a good thing. So, but my Portuguese, or my Google Translate foo was not enough to decide whether it was good or bad. Okay, so I'm guessing it might be this. Let's see. Get components, imports. Let's just see what they are. It's good. What's good? Let's see. Is that what we want to do this? Okay. So what we should do here, I want to filter it to be server component global, I guess. May contain Weasel. Well, hello and welcome. I am glad you're here. South Africa. Yeah. Well, I think we're probably not that far off, right? If I'm in the UK and you're in South Africa, like, is that just 1 hour different? Yale, good to see you. This is interesting. Capitan, good to see you. Yeah, late afternoons are tricky. They're tricky. Like, obviously, if you're working, it might be tough to put a stream on. I don't really know what the sort of... But anyway, this is what works for me, right? If you are experiencing a problem with 3.7.2, it's probably this one. And it's probably already solved. Oops. It's probably already solved, and we just need to release it. So it should be this. Which one? This one. It's probably this. If you're getting this sort of cannot read properties of undefined reading use, then it's probably this PR that solved it, I hope. And you can test it with the edge release just to confirm that that's the case. I'll be doing a hot fix by the end of today. I'm just seeing what else we can get into it, because I always feel bad doing a hot fix with very few PRs. But yeah, there will be a hot fix. Thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Okay, we probably don't need to add these. Yeah, so I'm really sorry about that. It's totally my fault, actually. It was my PR that caused the regression. And it was a last minute PR. It's a bad one. It is the new VS Code top bar. I'm not sure what I think about it. I don't use it at all. So really, but I don't think it takes up any extra space, but yeah, okay. So basically, right. So I'm getting lost here. So what we are doing is get components mode. Right. So we should be able to create transform plugin. We're calling this here. And we have get components, okay, which is here. So, okay, mode all. So first of all, I guess I have to ask the question, what do I think should happen? So we have a global server component. That should mean that a component is registered, but it might be the create server component on the client side. So, okay, so we have create server component, and we do that. Where do we do that? Yeah, we do that here. And that makes sense. The only question is, do we basically not handle lazy? Is that what it is? I think that must be what it is. So we are always creating server component, but we're not creating a lazy server component. So I think what we would want to do is something like, I don't think we would need to handle a lazy component separately. In fact, so I don't think it can be this code. Hey, McPizza. So basically, you're not late to the party. No. I feel this should be a very simple issue, actually. So basically, if we're using a server-only component and it is also globally registered, it throws an error. And we can probably solve this in a couple of different ways. So we have a components plugin template, which is here, which should actually probably be this. And we should probably do create a branch to fix global server components. And so probably what's happening is we are importing it from lazy. So if maybe we could try a sync import, or we could well, let's just try filtering it to start with. So filter c.c kebab name, Pascal name doesn't equal. Let's just see if this resolves it, right? Pizza, you should come for our meetup. You're not too far away, you know. The Canaries or whatever. Now that does resolve it. So the issue is this import. So what happens if we instead say, we instead just do a quick test. So if component Pascal name is server component global, then console log it and continue. Bruno, nice to see you. I was just saying that to Enrique that I had to check some Portuguese because I wasn't sure what it meant. And you were the one who told me, you gave me the answer, which was very helpful. So thank you. Your flying pizza box. That is definitely something that I would like to see. Oh. I was very amused by it. Okay, so, right, this is what we're logging. It has got mode server and global true. And basically, I think if it's mode server, then we should import it. We shouldn't import the lazy version. we should just import the normal one. Let me do a quick test actually. Let's see one thing. So if we're in our say our, do we have server components? I'll just do it in our index. So if we're trying to deliberately use this new component that we created, server component global, and we imported it, let's try importing it directly from components. Yeah, so we do have it. Like it is importable. Okay, well that's the key thing. So let's see if we can just change the what we're doing here. So let's just add to the sync and carry on. Is that going to solve anything for us? I'm sorry, what? I'm very sorry. You what? You've not had pizza in a month. That is very, very. I'm wondering what that is. Okay, so that is interestingly. Is that also in private? Is that just a sort of private Discord message you're getting in from McPizza? Okay, so why would it not be able to find this? What does it mean unimport failed to find it? Because we're importing this directly from components. Let me just confirm this is what we want. So I don't think this is the problem. I think the problem is elsewhere in our loader plugin. Okay, there's no problem with that code. That code is correct. Okay, so we can I think move out of here for a sec. I think that the problem right now is the transform or the loader plugin. So we have this virtual imports, and this virtual imports is going to presumably we're going to import it here, and that's what's going to do it, but maybe we don't have the right imports at this point. So let's just check. As includes server component global. I'm expecting to see some stuff there. Welcome from Iran. That is a pleasure. Nice to see you. Okay. Okay. That would do it. So basically we don't have server components in our imports here. And I'm guessing it's because we are calling this with maybe different mode. Okay, so I'm guessing it must be that, yeah, it must be the client build that's not working. So what should happen when we import the component? Let's actually try that again in a second. So we should be able to import the server component like this. Let's just see if that works in the browser, because I didn't think about that. Yes. Yeah, we're getting the same issue. Okay, so that's really good. That is consistent. So it means that we need to have the server component accessible on the client side, which is fine. So we actually, I think this might be super simple. Let's see. We have our get components, and I think this means that we always want to include a server component on the client side. So so either it's this mode, or the mode is all, or the mode is server and there's no other server component, right? That's some component, oops, buzz. Some component mode is client and component Pascal name equals, oops, I'm shadowing it. It might be possible to refine that slightly, but let's see if that does anything for us. Daniel, hello. Thank you for your great PR to restore those mermaid diagrams. That was definitely appreciated. Good. Okay, that's working fine. And let's see, let's just confirm what is being included. Because maybe this is the wrong thing to include. So what we want to do, let's just change our index here, and let's pull in, we've got a server only component there. Is that actually what it's called? Yes. So we could just import it here and confirm that it's going to work correctly above, which it might not do. Let's see. I'm sorry for the pain you experienced with the docs setup. I hope that's going to get a lot better very soon. Yeah, okay. So basically this is problematic because it's not transforming it. So we do need to do that. We do need to transform it. So let's see, create server only. So we're doing that in our loader. Create client only. And we, oops. Create server only, rather. Create server component. And we're only doing that when we're importing it from, I see. So we should, I guess this is basically, yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is where we need to do it. Right. So if the mode is async, if it's client and async, and what we probably ought to do here is say if the mode is server. Yeah. Okay, so what we want to do is, yeah, okay. So if the mode is server, then it's server. Actually, let's try this again. So if the mode is client, okay, let's make this simpler. See that client server includes the mode, then we'll just use the mode. Otherwise, we'll do undefined. Good. Okay, so that's what we want. And now we have to be able to handle it down here. So we want to say something like this. And specifically, we want to handle, and I think we ought to do this even if it's async as well. So this is a single case. We want to do create server component, and it should look like just the name, that's all. So it should be that, and we're importing create server component from there. And we import it directly. So we would do this. Okay. And it should be create server component, and then we're outputting the name. Bear? We need the name of the component. What is our query here? We should know this with query, I think. Yeah, that's problematic. Okay, so because in this case, we need a little bit more in our query. So we basically, we have our mode, and we probably also want to pass the name. So it would be next component equals mode. I think we probably would want to say I think we would want to say something like and next component name equals c dot Pascal name. So then we can just pull this in here. We might be able to simplify that and basically say name is query dot next component name, and then we should I should be able just to confirm that this works. So we'll just console log that. Okay, so import it and server component global. That actually looks fine to me. And this that's right, isn't it? Okay, so is that going to work in the browser? I'm sorry, Sean. See you. Yeah, that is working. Okay. So let's just clean this up a little bit and check that we're doing what we want to do. So basically, this is just, okay, well, that needs to be cleaned up. This one is fine. I think we can actually get rid of that change. Hey, thank you. Okay, so that is fine. We don't need to update this at all. Okay, we're just going to, that's a minor change, just sort of chore use typed template. Hey, get on. And then I think the only thing we actually need to do to reproduce and prevent a regression is this change. But this doesn't hurt either. So in fact, we probably can reproduce it like this because this failed last time. Yeah, it's nice to have you. Okay, so that is working. That failed last time. The build broke. Good. This is good. So that the presence of that file is enough to cause the to make a good regression test for us. And basically, all we need to do is tidy this slightly. So we will basically say, I guess we could pull this up, but I think it's only used here, which might also mean we only need to include it if in a certain situation. Honestly, yeah. The credit goes to Puya, who did a lot of work on Nuxt CLI, Listen, and some other OnJS dependencies, and also the Bun team, who have been doing a great job making Bun work with other projects. So, credit where it's due very much. So let's simplify this slightly. So I think we can actually do mode is client server includes Great. And I think we can just then drop this in like that. Okay. And I think that's fine. And next component name, I guess that's fine too. Include in every situation. So we only need it for server components, but I think it's safe to pass it in every situation. So that all seems fine. Yeah, sorry, bun and WSL not yet fully there. And I think, is there a way to improve this? So get components. This is pulling in all components. Let's try that one more time. Oops. Let's try that. Great. Okay, so I think we have a PR, and I haven't tested it. We can do that just while we're looking for other issues, because I think this is very likely to have been reported at least one other time. So let's try something like server components import or something like that. Tehuna, nice to see you too. It wouldn't surprise me, but I can't see it, so maybe not. Right, let's push this and open a PR. Let's copy that. Oops. Okay, so basically, let's see, previously we were not providing the necessary transform to directly import server components from components, meaning they could not be globally registered. This PR updates, adds new conditions to handle imports, which also resolves the linked issue, as well as allowing explicit imports when required. It doesn't, both lazy and sync imports of server components are implemented in the same way. Great, and we'll ask Anthony to review as he did the initial implementation, and that should be it, I think. Okay. Someone proposed solving this issue as well. So hey, Sebren, good to see you. Have I seen the Vue certification? I have to check it out. I'm sure it's very good. The team at Vue School do good things. Okay, this is a weird issue. Exactly the kind of things that's nice to do it. So this non-ASCII character should make the build fail, but only with script lang ts. Okay, let's see if we can reproduce this. It seems reproducible. So we'll create pages. We'll create a new one called non-ASCII, and or we'll just do that non-ASCII. Okay, there we go. And we'll just say, ta-da, great. So this should not work according to the bug report. Let's see if we can reproduce that. Oh, this causes builds to fail, but only with script setup lang ts. Okay, let's try it. Yup. Okay, build fail. It is, in fact, reproducible. This might not be a next issue, mind you. So it could be a Vite one. But let's see. So when we are loading the... Now, okay, it might not be. It might be macro related. Yeah, could be. Could be. So, but it might not be. Let's drop the lang ts and just see, does it work? It works. Okay, so and we're going to start with macro because we see that there's this macro true, and that might mean that it's related. So we have this sort of macro true bit where we're importing macro like metadata for each page. So let's assume that this is the bug. Okay, so we're going to remove that and basically drop all of this sort of stuff from our roots. Let's see if that solves it. Yeah, today it's random bugs. Okay, it does work now. And if we stick all of that stuff back, does that work? It fails. Excellent. That means probably this is our bug. So if we run, let's try it. So we're going to require, what is gen import coming from? Network. Network, gen import, and we're going to paste in this file. Yeah, interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah, reproducible is brilliant. So I don't think, okay, the issue is not the gen import here. I think the issue is then in our macro page meta plugin. So what we're doing, I think, at some point is we are finding we're adding an import. I think we're adding some more imports. So basically what we're doing here, we're finding the static imports, and then we are basically rewriting the query. I think, could it be this? So let's try. Okay. Are any of those what we're looking for? I'm going to need to change this. So if specifier includes non-ASCII, okay, yes. So our specifier is wrong. And why is it wrong? It's probably, let's just log our script import as well. Okay, so it's wrongly passed here, which means it's wrongly passed, I think, in find static imports, which is an import from Emily or Molly. So let's have a look at the source code here. Okay, the issue, I think, is to do with this regular expression here, the ESM static import. And we're using, it's a Unicode regular expression. So it's wrongly passing it. So we can actually switch out of Nuxt, I think, at this point. So git clone github.com .js, okay, and let's open new window on active host. Yeah, that was a really understandable regular expression. You'll be able to just instantly get that. No matter what, really. You look at that one and you're like, I understand this perfectly. Okay. So I think we should be able to create a little test for it and then solve it. So let's try this. So we should be able to have do I need to install some dependencies? We should be able to have a little test. Okay. Let's try this. Import something from okay, so that should basically have a specifier of this, and it should be something, and that should be, actually let's just simplify it because this is all we are really caring about. Right? Let's see if the tests work. They do. Oh wait, did I add it in the right place? I did. Okay. Let me just 100% confirm that this is the issue. So maybe it's the rewrite query thing. Okay, script import. The script import is also not working. When I logged this, it's giving us the wrong content here. But let's just confirm that the code that we're actually looking at is correct, because maybe it is accurately finding it, but the code is wrong. So just let me check that again a second. Oh, thank you. That is nice of you to notice. Yeah, I went for a haircut yesterday. Okay, so what's our code? Aha! It's finding it correctly. Our code is that this is actually our code. So, as in that's what we have been given. So why would this be a problem? What are we outputting? It's JSON Stringify probably, which is handling this. So if we did something like, let me just try just wrapping that and not stringifying it and seeing what happens. Does that solve this for us? Mehmet is here. Welcome. It is ha. It was JSON Stringify that was our enemy. That is what it was, which I suspect it was removing a backslash, is my guess. But we can test that in a second. So if this is our code, let's just try stringifying that and then comparing. So, so basically, we want our code to be this. So, oops. Our code should be this. But let's just say string2 is JSON stringify string. And let's just have a look at what string2 is. That actually seems fine. Oh no. Yeah, a double backsplashes double escapes it. Okay. So, sorry, we should have a break. We should have a break, and we're going to come back in 5 minutes. Come out in 5 minutes, or you can take 2 minutes, whatever, but I will be back in 5 minutes, and we'll fix this one. I think we'll get another PR in, and then we'll have a look at whatever comes next. So have a think if there is something else in your mind, some other bug or something it would be nice to fix. I'll have a look. So return in 5 minutes. See you in a sec. Okay, I am back. Let's see. T. And a nice bug to look at. Thank you, Luquatic. And the best hook for DB migration. So when do you want to migrate? As in, is this on a build? So I guess, yeah, tell me, when do you want to run the migration? I could tell you a hook that will run at that time. And let's just check. See what our pull request is doing. Is it actually failing? It is actually failing. It's probably a TypeScript issue. Yeah. Okay, we can fix that. That's a small change. Okay. So right, what are we doing? We have page meta. We have a solution, which is that we're getting our specifier. And actually, what we want, I think, at this point is to... It'd be really handy if we knew what what kind of quotes were there. So our the issue, we have got something like this. We have a \u for a Unicode string. And we are, for some reason, when we call JSON stringify on that, it doesn't work. So it would be better if... Hey, thank you. Thank you, Andre. It'd be better if we could detect it in the code. So if we basically just... I think we could just search, re-get the specifier. So we could do basically rewrite query what does the rewrite query do again? It adds in macro true. So it shouldn't do anything for us. So basically what we simply want to do is to grab the code here and replace it. So it's maybe a little bit complicated. But we could basically say const quoted specifier. Look, I want to understand a little bit more why the JSON stringify thing isn't working. Could we use a file URL? Would that be better? So basically, the JSON stringify is... So, okay, so Lord G's, what you would probably want to do is this. So if you are wanting to run a DB migration after build, you would do something like, you could write a little module for it, maybe. That would be fine. So you could do just a function in here, or you could define a Nuxt module. You do const Nuxt is use Nuxt, except you're importing this from Nuxt kit. It's auto importing that because I'm in a monorepo. You do something like if Nuxt options dev return. So you don't want to do anything in development mode, but in production you would do something like Nuxt hook build done, or maybe even Nuxt hook close, like at the end, or you could even do nitro. Yeah, I think close is reasonable. And then you would just run sort of DB migrations, and that will run at the very, very end of everything. I think build done might be called twice, which is why I think I avoid that. We might call build done No, that's probably fine. But you see, this is the order here. We have build before, then we have build done, and then we have close. And actually build done is probably what we want because that prevents it from running in prepare mode. So you do build done and you run your DB migrations there. So that could work for you. And I'll just paste. Is that enough, or would you like some like a gist or something? Great. Oh, thank you, Punky. Okay, good. So we've got quoted specifier. Okay, right, sorry. Why is this not working? So we've got our specifier here. This is our specifier. And, okay, right, it's backslashed. Right, okay, that makes sense. So, already escaped. And the issue is, we don't know. Maybe this is a Molly problem, because Molly actually should be returning it with a single slash, not double, right? Because the code has double, but it's in quotes. Is that right? So if Molly did something like what is the that's actually fine. This is pretty much already there in the form of random UUID, if you want. So I think you should be able just to import UUID from uncrypto and just use it, and that should work consistently. It might require that you're in a secure context. That might be the only issue. Thank you, that's really kind. Yeah, it really is. It's appreciated. It won't happen. So UUIDs are pretty much guaranteed not to be duplicated based on how the algorithm works. But check it out. And I think... Okay, so basically what we want is to sort of preserve the specifier but replace. Let me just check rewrite query. What is it going to do? It's just replacing some text. So it's not actually going to change the thing at all. So if we did something like script import dot code match Yes. Thank you, Xpanky, for saying that very, very sort of clearly. And for the much longer explanation, that is excellent. That's very good. So, but yes, basically you do not need to worry about it. Is that right for back reference? Let's just check. Is it just, does it have to be K? Oh, I should just do the number. Okay, so we want to grab the No. Oh, I see what you mean. You want the ID to match on both sides. The answer is, so this would be the code to do that. If you want the ID to match on both sides, you do something like this. So like it can be as simple as this, okay? So if you have a composables and use ID, and you did let ID equals 0, and then you do export function get ID, and you return use state, get ID key, and you return use state key, ID okay, and this basically is what you want. So I don't think you even need random UUID for that. If all you need is an ID that matches between client and server, so this will, we would call it use ID actually. And so this will and you would need to add this to optimization keyed composables, and it would be something like your thing, wherever it's located, and then argument length, I think 1 would basically be, this would do it for you, I think, based on what you're wanting. Okay, so this gives a quoted specifier, and then we replace script import specifier with specifier, and then we okay, that resolves it. So basically, as in that does resolve it in this particular case. But we more have an issue that it would be nice to figure out, because we use this a lot, right? So this is we're using this in a lot of places, and if this is going to be an issue with Unicode strings, we probably want to handle that. So it's going to be a problem with we could try that. Just see whether that works for us. Because if it does, that might be a better option. Let's try it. So what we want to do here is undo these changes, and instead try Actually, this is the only place where we quote it. Maybe that's enough, because these other situations we're... Oh, no, we weren't quoting it before. Right, it was like that, right? So we can ignore Molly. Chunk names, I think, is... We can ignore that too. That we probably do need to care about. I would not be at all surprised, therefore, actually, if we tried that global server component thing, whether it also had the same issue. Let's just have a very, very quick check. So fix non-ASCII specifier. Yes, we're doing random bug fixes. So we're just going to call this fix next. Use original quotes in... I think this is not the right solution, just to be super clear. But let's go to our global server components, which I think also had a type issue, which we can very quickly fix. So it's this, and the problem... okay. The problem is this should be next plugin template, I guess. I see. Okay, we can actually just... Anyway. Revert changed type. What do you mean close the native macOS prompt with keyboard? Which one? Save, don't save. Yeah, you can do it with keyboard. But maybe I did enable accessibility. So so if let's see, okay, I'm changing this, I'm closing it, and I can tab up and down. So I can press enter or space to activate the thing. So if I say don't save, then I can press enter and it doesn't save it. I think I did have to enable accessibility, like to enable keyboard navigation. So, which is ridiculous. Can I just say how ridiculous it is that I have to that I had to enable this? Let's see, where is it? Is it here? This is what you want. Keyboard navigation enabled. Hey, Justin. And keyboard navigation enable. It like it's the most frustrating thing with a Mac. I want to be able to do absolutely everything with a keyboard. I don't want to have to touch the mouse unless I have to. But yes, it's one of the first things I would do in installing any new Mac is turn that switch on. So check it out. Is that the issue for you? Okay, good. We've got it. Okay, so let's find this global server component thing, and let's just change it to be have an emoji in it. I bet you this is also going to, the build is also going to fail, because I think we do exactly the same thing with, yep, absolutely. It fails in exactly the same way. Right. So in other words, it's not enough just to solve it as we did in this non-ASCII specifier PR. Because if we just save it here, I think what we want to do instead let's see, where did we do it? We did it somewhere. Page meta, right? That's where we were. We changed it here. The quoted specifier thing. What we actually want to do is something like of course. Is the issue just that the issue is this. So JSON stringify what was it? Interesting. Okay, I'm no longer that confident in my solution here. So why? Yep, it did. That's me. That's me. Okay, so I often struggle with this, by the way, detecting, like when you're console logging text, whether it is in fact, like what is in fact the thing that, yeah. I wonder here. Fabian, nice to see you. Thank you for coming by. Okay. So what I'm trying to see is, yes, okay, so it is adding an extra escape character there. And I think it's because if we have that, so I think this is double escaped, and it's escaping it to like quadruple escape it, whereas in fact we only want it to render a single backslash. Why would that be? Do we need to call JSON parse on it and then stringify it again? So basically the issue here might be I'm a bit confused, Prashant, is the answer. Basically, we're debugging an obscure issue with non-ASCII characters where they are escaped, we're double escaping them with JSON stringify. And so we need to figure out a way not to do this, but we actually don't know because of how we're implementing this. In this case, we are finding some static imports, so we don't actually know what... that is probably the solution for these other situations, because we do actually know more information. We're not using find imports. But in this particular case, we are pulling out something that was in quotation marks. We don't know what kind of quotation marks they were, and then we are stringifying the result. So that may be the solution, the particular solution here. So could we do that? So could we basically say, let's change this slightly. So we basically have our original bit. How safe? I'm trying to figure out basically how safe is it to rely on the behavior of JSON parse, and I'm not convinced it's that safe. So to handle Unicode for us. So could I do something like, let's try. Okay, could I do something like this? Is this safe? Probably not, right? This is probably a terrible thing to do. Yeah. We got bugs to squash. This is a silly one. This is not a happy bug. Figuring out the right solution for it is not a happy solution. So if you've got any ideas, I would welcome them. Basically, there's some strangeness here. So with what is it? What is this rewrite query? It basically removes macro true, right? No, it reorders it. So reordered query, and basically, right, like to show you what's going on, we have got these. Is Nuxt or Next better and why? Well, I maintain Nuxt, so I think Nuxt and Nuxt are both great. Largely, you'll probably turn to Next if you really want to use React. I hope, though, that maybe you might consider Nuxt, even if you want to use React, because I think there's some nice things that we do in Nuxt that I think I would love people to try out and test. let's go back to Molly again. And let's say that this is the code. That is what's coming out. But the issue is that we don't know Okay, we're going to try this. Sorry, I'm going to do a little bit more. Okay, so I want to see what is our quoted specifier, and I want to see what is our the JSON one, which would basically be JSON stringify reordered query, because that's the contrast that we're looking at. I'm sorry, people. You guys are being so nice. Thank you. Okay. Right. I'm logging this, right? What did it say? Come on. Right. The better way to pass this. This is basically it's a URL, right? So could I do that? Yeah, this V4 is going to come. V4 is not going to be as big a deal as version 3. Like, that's the aim. So I would rather, but it is going to be an opportunity for. What are you looking at? What's the PR? Like dealing with the thing that we're looking at here. That's a lot of failures. Okay, so you're thinking we can just test for let's try gen. So I feel maybe we can do this in one place in Gen Export in Network, and basically handle this particular thing. So let's try this. Okay, let's just see if that works for us. Okay, so git clone GitHub on.js network. I've been meaning to do some work on network anyway, so this is probably a good excuse for it. So also I should update to handle the this is what we're working on, not the one that I pinned a few minutes ago. Hey, welcome. Right, so opening network. Sorry, team. Right, network, PNPMI. Hey, Draco and team. Welcome. What have you been streaming on? What's the subject? So we have Gen Export here. And I think, so this is what we want to be able to implement. Python. Cool. We want to handle no, we want to try it works with Unicode. Oh, do we have a different gen? No, I think probably we do this in this one place. And we want to do this. So const code is gen export. And we're going to pass in this. And we want this to be right, that's the problem, right? So we're getting 4. Is that actually what's coming out at the other end? To be yeah. So that's a little bit more readable. Yeah, welcome. It's great. It's exciting to be picking up something and learning new patterns and everything. Like, honestly, that's so much fun. So yeah, well done. I'm just not sure this is actually necessarily a gen import issue. So basically, sorry, you can find out about my IDE settings there. I've got a link to a gist. Because really, we shouldn't be passing, no, we should be passing that. So like the issue isn't gen export is doing something wrong. Like I think it is respecting what's being passed to it. So is it time for a 10-minute break? People value a break. You can do a break. You can do a break. Okay, we'll do a break. But it doesn't feel like it's been that long since the last one. But anyway, let's do 5-minute break. See you all. No break needed. Feel free to take a break if you want. You can switch off, whatever. I'm not feeling in need of a break, but okay. So I just don't think the problem is with gen export. I think the problem is just the fact that we don't know what the fact that this is quoted or not. And so we are using JSON stringify, and JSON stringify is okay, right. Let's just try doing some URL stuff because I feel like that might be the answer. Okay, so we have got so file. So well, let's try path to file URL, and if we pop in that, okay, it's going to give us our file URL. Now, if we pop in the actual thing that we're getting out here, and what we're getting out is basically this, right? So that is what we have, I think. So what about this? You all are so kind to look after me. I genuinely don't feel I need any rest. This is totally fine. This is not mentally taxing. This is just fun. But okay, look, I'll do a 5-minute break. I'll do a 5-minute break. So 5 minutes and we will be back. So not long, 5 minutes in like 2 minutes past the hour. See you in a bit. Okay, I'm back. Okay, what have you all talked about? So, you guys, right. I'll tell you what I do when we have these breaks. I do some press ups, which is quite fun. And I grab a cup of tea if I am running out, or a glass of water. Maybe I go pee. Like, it's quite good to have breaks every now and then, so I don't mind it. But I genuinely I think my eyes I'm not worried about my eyes particularly. Right. So, yeah. I recommend it so much. It's so fun. Um, Totally replaces like going to the gym or anything like that, because you just whenever you take a break in the day, you just do some press ups or something like that. Okay. Uh, I also don't feel like this is a good solution. This is called Dank Mono, the font. So that italics is also the same font. It's not a different font. It's in my it's on my website, but it's there. Dank Mono, yeah. And welcome, King. Sorry, I didn't respond when you said hi. Yeah, it's not going to work. Let me see if I can reproduce this in one other issue. So I think it might actually help solve the particular thing. So what we want is just directly quoted specifier again to get the build passing. And then I want to try one more issue. So we decided that we also had this server component that was failing, or just a component. It should be any component, I think, any global component. So let's try just test global, and we're going to make it test global, right? Or we just create a new one like this. Let's just restore the old, delete that. Okay, so we have our test global, and we should be able to run that. And we are getting an error in the components plugin, as we are expecting. Let's see why. So wait a second. Are emojis valid JavaScript names? Probably not. Yeah, it's not, it seems. What about just a non-ASCII character like that? So, okay, let's try that instead. Seems to be fine. What happens with our page meta? So if we were to go through to change this, just confirm that this in fact writes. Great, thank you, Bruno. See you later. Okay, this is actually better because this is, well, this is going to reproduce in more places. But it also means that this is not an issue with the component. Parastock. What is that? Okay, so we have components, we have pages, we have, it might actually just be just this one specifically. Okay, let's just assume that. Because it's still a valid solution, but if we encounter any other bugs, we might have to revisit that. So basically, we can directly oh right, we also have several other situations here. So we'll probably want to do the same thing. So let's just grab this. get quoted specifier. Okay, let's try this. And then let's go back and fix the current issue with the last PR we made. When passing imports using find static imports, we can end up with a string which has Unicode escapes. When this happens, calling JSON stringify on it ends up double escaping the previous escapes. The best way to resolve in this particular case was to avoid re-stringifying, but other ideas are welcome. And I think Anthony would be good to review this. Okay, now let's see about this. What is the failure here? Okay. Yeah, this seems like a legitimate bug. We should fix that. Which is probably a good thing because I have a call in 10 minutes. So let me just check that. No, it's not in 10 minutes. It is in 40 minutes. Okay. So let's see. Let's check this one out again. And the issue is replicable in which test? It's replicable in the test for client-only explicit import. Okay. So this is totally reasonable. And we can probably very quickly reproduce. So nuxi-dev test fixtures basic. And we want to be able to fetch client-only explicit import. And the issue being probably that, yeah, okay. Okay, so we've somehow broken the client-only parsing. Right, what's going on? In our component transform, we are okay. How have we broken that? Oh, maybe our... Okay, why would that not work? Okay, client-only script. Haha. Okay, so we're wrongly, I think, we're wrongly pulling in the query. That call that I thought I had, I do have. So I will have to wrap up, but let's see. I'll need to come back to this. And oh, for goodness sake, is there actually, are these genuine test failures? They might be. They're Webpack related. Maybe not. Yeah, no, maybe. Normally I don't get build errors with Webpack unless it isn't actually a problem. Okay, so we've done a couple of things. There's still some work to be done, but unfortunately I'm out of time to stream. But I would love to pick up another time. So yeah, until we meet again, let me find a good stream to go join if you're looking for something to keep you occupied and entertained. And we can pick up another time. So, who is on right now? We've got AWS. Do you want to join AWS? You can raid AWS. Or the Primogen, yes, he is always good. Okay, we'll join him. But yeah, thank you for joining me. It is always more fun to do these things together. I really do appreciate it. So yeah, it's nice. I will see everybody later. I think I might have something pretty fun this Friday, a special guest and building something neat. But see you later.